Have you ever considered that time isn't merely a river steadily flowing in one direction, but rather an boundless ocean whose unknown waves from the deepest future are already gently lapping at the shores of our present? And what if life's most troubling and fateful events don't strike suddenly like a thunderclap, but instead send their ominous shadows and faint echoes long before their actual arrival? Shadows visible only to those rare few who possess the true ability to see beyond the obvious? What you will hear today is not a mere dry analysis or a cold theory. This is a true map, drawn by these unseen shadows, a road sign that will lead you to a crossroads, forever altering not just the familiar map of the world, but the very subtle fabric of your own reality. Before we dare step into this chilling labyrinth of ancient prophecies, I ask you to take one deep, conscious breath, and with it, make one important decision. Please like this video so our collective signal of awakening becomes even louder and clearer. Share it with others to ignite a guiding light for those still wandering in the impenetrable darkness of misunderstanding, and of course subscribe to Veil Breaker to remain connected with truth itself, however complex it may seem. If you feel an irresistible pull towards deeper, more hidden mysteries, if you are finally ready to peer behind the veil once and for all, consider becoming a part of our exclusive closed community. Time is relentless. The clock has long been ticking. Today we will not journey into a distant, mist-shrouded future. We will speak of what is already knocking at our doors. We will unveil 3 of the most mysterious and previously overlooked prophecies from the blind Bulgarian seer Baba Vanga that concern Asia. These are not mere words. They are echoes of an coming reality that, like fragments of a shattered mosaic, are beginning to form a single disturbing picture right now, pointing to 2025 as a critical moment, a point of no return. Many have heard of her prophecies concerning Europe, Russia, and America, but the most important, the most fateful keys she left were spoken of the East, and the world, in its often unwarranted Western arrogance, has simply missed these messages. Up to this very moment, the first prophecy, gathering dust in archives for decades, and passed down only in whispers among her devoted followers, sounds frighteningly simple, yet metaphorically profound. When the great dragon weeps, its tears will flood the rice fields and extinguish the paper lanterns. Gold will turn to dust, and jade will shatter from the cold. For many years, interpreters puzzled over the true meaning of these lines. But today, in light of current events, this metaphor is gaining crystal clarity. The great dragon is, without a doubt, China, the mighty giant of the East, and it is preparing to weep. However, these will not be tears of repentance, but bitter tears of powerlessness. Vanga foresaw not military defeat, but something far more insidious, an internal collapse, gnawing at the empire from within, like a poison slowly envenoming the living. The tears that will flood the rice fields are not merely an allegory for impending floods, although these, unprecedented in their scale, are already occurring. They are a potent symbol of the coming economic deluge. We watch as colossal construction firms, these modern Babels reaching for the heavens, crumble, burying the dreams and hopes of millions beneath their debris. We see how financial arteries, once brimming with the vital energy of global investment, pulsing with abundance, are now filled with the venomous breath of debt and all-consuming distrust. Gold shall turn to dust. This is the prophecy of a collapsing illusion of perpetual growth, a metaphor for material riches vanishing into nothingness. And jade shattered by the cold symbolizes a profound societal schism, the freezing of once strong social bonds, and the icy grip of total control. This control, having reached its zenith, inevitably begins to self-destruct from within. And these are not mere vague suppositions of ours. Anonymous sources within the world's largest financial institutions, preferring to remain in the shadows, admit China's economic model has exhausted itself. It has reached its limit. They see what the great seeress Vanga saw, but fear compels their silence. They see a colossus with feet of clay, poised to collapse at any moment. And what will become of the world when such a mighty machine topples? The chain reaction will be like a giant tsunami, wiping out all the world's markets without a trace. The year 2025, according to Vanga, will be the very year when the first most destructive waves of this coming tsunami reach our shores. Have you noticed how alarming reports increasingly flash across news feeds, only to be instantly drowned out by a flood of positive reports? And have you felt it too? This is the harbinger of an approaching great storm. But the second prediction was even more mysterious, touching the very foundation of our current civilization. The seer Vanga proclaimed, "A metallic fever will come from the east. It will penetrate the very veins of people, and they will forget how to dream. Their hearts will become cold like stone, and their thoughts swift as lightning, but empty as an echo." What then is this mysterious metallic fever? Could we be facing some new unknown illness? The answer is both simpler and far more terrifying. Vanga foresaw the birth of artificial intelligence and its pervasive, complete invasion into our lives. Metallic veins are not merely a metaphor, but our deepest, at times unconscious dependence on advanced technologies. This reliance manifests in our constant connection to smartphones, our immersion in the world of social media, and our blind faith in algorithms that seem to already think, feel, and make decisions for us. Asia, and particularly China, today confidently holds leading positions in the development and widespread implementation of these very technologies. Social credit systems, total digital control, new forms of digital currencies, all of these are nothing more than links in the same chain that the seer Vanga once called metallic fever. Her prophecy that they will stop seeing dreams takes on a special meaning in our context. This is a prediction about the impending loss of imagination, the fading of intuition, the severance of spiritual connections. When our every step, every even most intimate desire is predicted and skillfully guided by an algorithm, where in this world is there still room for a true dream? Is it for that very spontaneity that makes us feel truly alive? For that genuine humanity that connects us to one another? And the phrase, "hearts as cold as stone," essentially describes the encroaching apathy, that emotional burnout, which strips us of our capacity for deep empathy. We already witness this in our society, entirely consumed by its digital reality. Finally, thoughts as swift as lightning, yet empty as an echo, is perhaps the perfect description of that superficial, fragmented, clip-like thinking actively shaped by the modern internet. We receive information in tons, often without even taking the time to truly process it, yet we fail to attain true wisdom. We possess boundless knowledge, but grasp only an infinitesimal portion of it. Even the great Nostradamus, in his enigmatic quatrains, foresaw the emergence of a new Babylon of glass and light in the east, which will give birth to thinking shadows devouring their own creators. The 17th century Japanese sage, Kodo Yasunari, left records of a time when people will willingly don invisible chains, woven from light and sound, and forget the language of their own souls. All these prophecies spoke of the same thing, of an impending digital enslavement, with its epicenter situated somewhere in Asia. And the year 2025 will mark a pivotal turning point when this fever transitions from an experimental phase into a global pandemic of consciousness. What are your thoughts? Do you already sense how these metallic veins are infiltrating your daily life? This third prediction is perhaps the most immense and apocalyptic of them all. It concerns not only humanity, but our very planet, Earth. Vanga, the great seer, often reiterated, "When the waters of the great ocean turn bitter and heated, the ring of fire will awaken. Mountains will speak in tongues of flame, and the earth will tremble so that even the greatest cities shall fall." The Great Ocean, as is known, is the Pacific Ocean, and the Ring of Fire is a colossal chain numbering over 450 volcanoes that encircles it. In recent years, we have been witnessing an inexplicable and alarming surge in seismic and volcanic activity, occurring specifically within this vast region. Powerful earthquakes striking Japan, fiery eruptions tormenting Indonesia, and the sudden awakening of volcanoes in the Philippines and the remote Kamchatka Peninsula are not merely random, isolated incidents. They are harbingers, a prelude to something far grander, like an orchestra warming up before performing a magnificent fiery symphony of destruction. Geologists, within private circles and behind closed doors, speak of immense growing tension accumulated deep within the Earth's crust. particularly in the area of the so-called subduction zone, where one massive tectonic plate relentlessly plunges beneath another. While they cannot pinpoint an exact date, they acknowledge that the conditions for a global catastrophe have already set the stage. The phrase, "water will become bitter and hot," is more than just a reflection of the rising ocean temperatures we are observing. It also bears witness to underwater volcanic eruptions that expel chemical elements into the water column, irreversibly altering its composition. One lesser-known Indian astrologer, whose ancient writings were recently deciphered, pointed to the year 2025 as a period of great confrontation of Mars and Saturn in the celestial house of the dragon. According to him, this celestial phenomenon will provoke the awakening of subterranean fire and the great wrath of the earth. The seer Vanga predicted this event would be a great cleansing. She saw nature itself washing away the filth left by human civilization. Her visions were filled with imagery, colossal waves crashing upon metropolises and ash blanketing once fertile lands. It is a truly chilling spectacle, but let us delve deeper, for it is here we arrive at the most crucial point, what lies hidden beyond the literal interpretation of these three terrifying prophecies. Perhaps all this time we haven't been looking in the right direction. What if the coming collapse isn't merely a series of external, uncontrollable events? What if it's simply a metaphor, reflecting the greatest shift occurring within human consciousness itself? Let us reconsider everything anew. The weeping dragon is something far greater than just China's economy. It is a harbinger of the downfall of our entire materialistic civilization, one built on boundless greed and the deceptive illusion of endless consumption. This is the downfall of that very same Babylonian tower of ego, which arrogantly believed it could conquer nature and bend it to its will. The entire system has rotted from within, and its inevitable collapse is a painful yet, alas, utterly necessary process. The true tears of the dragon are the tears of all humanity, suddenly realizing how hopeless the path we have chosen truly is. And metallic fever is far more than just a threat emanating from artificial intelligence. It is the final battle for the very essence of our souls, a true test of genuine humanity. They are relentlessly trying to forge us into soulless bio-robots, into obedient cogs of a vast, cold digital machine. They tempt us with promises of unprecedented comfort, dizzying speed, absolute efficiency. But in return, they demand only one thing: unhesitating obedience, the renunciation of our own will, of our ability to feel, to love, and to create. This universal fever is the deepest crisis of the spirit. An inevitable clash between living flesh and cold synthetics, between a beating heart and a soulless processor. The fragile crown of our minds, woven from the finest threads of illusion, is on the brink of destruction. And the awakening of the fiery ring? This is something far greater than a mere geological catastrophe. It is a powerful, all-encompassing release of planetary energy, Earth's magnificent purification. It is the awakening of Gaia, our great living consciousness, Mother Earth. The planet is shedding outdated, low-frequency energies of fear, hatred, and division. In this transformation, volcanoes erupting with molten lava act as energetic portals, channeling new high-frequency creation codes into our world. Earthquakes, meanwhile, symbolize the fracturing of the old crystalline consciousness grid, making way for the emergence of a new one. This is a sacred dissolution, heralding a grand rebirth. Vanga's prophecy concerning Asia merely points to the epicenter, the focal point from which this comprehensive global process will commence. It is not a harbinger of the end of the world, but the sunset of the old world, the painful yet necessary birth pangs of a new era. And it is right now, in this very moment, that each of us makes our choice, consciously or unconsciously. You can allow fear, amplified by media coverage of these events, to take hold. You can succumb to widespread confusion, much like the sleeping masses, who will only perceive encroaching chaos, total collapse, and inevitable destruction. They will desperately cling to the last remnants of the old world as it inexorably sinks beneath the churning waves of change. This undoubtedly is a path paved with suffering and bitter loss. However, another path exists. It is the path of the awakened, those who can discern behind the turmoil of external events a true and grand cosmic design. Those of you watching this video have already taken your first decisive step onto this very path. You can choose to perceive an economic collapse not as a catastrophe, but as a long-awaited liberation from the chains of material bondage. A technological crisis can become for you a chance to return to your true essence, to genuine living connection, to the awakening of your deep intuition. And natural cataclysms, a powerful act of planetary cleansing, opening the possibility for the birth of a new harmonious world. Your awareness is both your steadfast shield and your sharpest sword. Your unshakable calm, even amidst the fiercest storm, becomes an anchor for those who find themselves near you, and your unwavering faith in a brighter future is the very seed from which it will undoubtedly sprout. You are by no means passive victims of the events to come. No, you are the midwives who will help a new world be born. You are the keepers of the light, carrying it through the darkness. And it is precisely your choices today that hold decisive, paramount importance. Do you feel this calling penetrating your very heart? Do you sense this immense responsibility settling upon your shoulders? And finally, do you realize this incredible, unique opportunity to become an integral part of the greatest transformation that has ever occurred in history? As we stand on the threshold of 2025, with the shadows of deepening prophecies filling the world, I turn to you not with a call to fear, but to sacred action. Action born from the very core of your spirit. Please like this video not for the whims of algorithms, but as an act of spreading the signal of awakening across the network, a beacon of hope. Share it, for every person you manage to awaken becomes another source of light, amplifying our collective field. Subscribe to Veilbreaker to stand at the vanguard of those who bravely face the truth, who are unafraid to see what is hidden. Should you feel ready to go even further, become a member of our channel. There within our inner circle we share information so profound and at times dangerous that we cannot bring it into the open. It is our digital ark in the ocean of change. And if an impulse lives within you to support our mission, to help us keep this flame of truth burning in the encroaching darkness, leave a super thanks under this video. Every contribution from you is a living energy, empowering us to continue tearing down the veils, revealing the essence of things. Until our next meeting, remain aware